for their political views and held by the army at concentration camps?
Well, I definitely think that that there are legitimate issues like NDAA. That's legitimate policy. I think that Presidential Directive 51 is. But with regard to this particular document, I would like you and or Paul Joseph Watson to point us specifically to where this mentions anything about CONUS, because I have found this document on an Army website, armypubs.army.mil. This is not a top-secret document, and I think
well, it says restricted. Oh, again, I should just settle down. You're calling in, trying to run a psyop here on our audience. It's illegal to have the TSA all over the country doing warrantless checkpoints and training police to search bags. Okay, that's been ruled over and over again. We've got regular military and Marines right where you're out there in California in the news running DWI checkpoints 30 miles from base on U.S. citizens. That's illegal. We have got Homeland Brigade saying they'll pull triggers on citizens. I've been to countless urban warfare drills, and you're calling up, going, your hair's on fire, you shouldn't be upset. And you started out by saying NDAA is legitimate across the political spectrum. The entire world, even the communist London Guardian, said this is unprecedented evil, the secret arrest of U.S. citizens. Unbelievable. You think PDD 51 is great, I guess. So let me guess. What type of police officer are you? And do you feel like this is okay because you've been let in to some of it and told the psyop that was crafted for you?
No, no one said this is okay. What I'm saying to you is this particular document is not what you're making it out to be, and you need to tell us specifically where it mentions the continental United States within this document. You are misleading your audience like you did before with 20 Minutes with the President.
Okay, I want to... Hold on one second. No, that was a mock interview with the President that we had a computer glitch for a minute. The thing wasn't on the bottom. That happens. It was like 20 pages long. Look, I'm trying to find something here. Where is the article? I just read this to people. I just read from the document. It says it's for in the U.S. We read that part. And it says identifies malcontents, trained agitators, political leaders within the facility who may try to organize resistance to create disturbances. Develops and executes indoctrination programs to reduce or remove antagonistic attitudes. Identifies political activists, provides loudspeaker support, such as administrative announcements and facility instructions where necessary, helps the military police commander control detainee and DC populations during emergencies, plans and executes PSYOP program that produces an understanding and appreciation of U.S. policies and actions. So you don't deny that this doesn't exist. You're saying that, well, I mean, what's misleading? Tell me.
Well, what I'm saying is this, Alex. I'm not denying
Hold on, buddy boy. You said I'm misleading people. You tell me in this document what I'm misleading people against. Don't use that Perry Mason garbage where you say, or I do some satire and you say everything I do is satire. This is not satire, okay? Now, I'm talking straight to you. Right now, I'm asking you, what is it true about this groundbreaking FM 3-39.40? What is in this document, okay, that is not it is groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. I already knew this because I've been to these drills and seen it without it being, admitted. That they are saying this will be used domestically as well in DOD support to U.S. civilian authorities for domestic emergencies and domestic law enforcement and other activities. Let me ask you as a police officer, do you ever use the military and warrant service?
Tell us page and paragraph in the PDF where we can find it in reference to the United States of America.
I have the document. I mean, I've just read from it.
Paul. Get Paul on the air and have him tell us where it's at, because he read it. He wrote about it.
Hold on, are you saying, sir, we've got all the links where they are doing the hiring and saying it's for domestic operations? Well, I appreciate it. Listen, you're not going to answer my questions, are you? Have you worked with the military as a police officer in domestic operations?
I called to ask you about this.
Yeah, that's enough. I'm done with you. You think you're part of the system. You watch what happens to this country. You try to stall the American people and use PSYOP techniques on them. You go ahead and do that, buddy. You go ahead and tell everybody everything's fine. They're not arresting Amish, and they're not arresting people with lemonade stands. They're not raiding people that are selling organic food in California. You go ahead and tell them the NDAA. You said, I think the NDAA is legitimate? Wow. You just watch what happens to this country. And if we're able to hold this back, you'll get to sit there and say, oh, see, nothing went on. They cried wolf. And you know what? That's great. You go ahead. If we're able to defeat this, I will love it. If people that aren't sophisticated say, oh, well, see, it wasn't bad. Man, that is incredible. I read the PDF this morning. Guys, print me the PDF. I read it at home. I mean, they got sections of it. Yeah, get Watson on air. I just read from it where it says, within U.S. territory and involve DOD support to civilian authorities for domestic emergencies. Pull up the PDF on screen and Control F search U.S. territory, U.S.territory. Put that in, and that'll bring the paragraph up instantly instead of me having to read the whole thing again. Just pull up the PDF in front of everybody watching on prisonplanet.tv. Type that in, it'll give you the document. You know what that guy did? He did what that congressman out of Tennessee did when Jesse Ventura goes in and says, you authored a bill to expand camps for political dissidents around the United States, and we've gone and seen some of these camps prepared. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, I don't believe space aliens are coming down to eat me. And he said, no, camps for civil emergencies. The Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program, the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. Yeah, blow it up. Show them. There it is. Blow it up. I mean, anybody can go do that. Just print it for me and I'll do it because there's so many of them. Blow it up bigger because I can't read that on screen. See, that's what they do. Just like when NDAA said it would secretly arrest citizens, for 2 weeks the media said it didn't say it, so we couldn't build up opposition to beat it, and then Obama said he wouldn't sign it, and then he did. It's all in there. Yeah, what you do is you have to hit the full. You have to hit the full. In one search, U.S.territory as one word to find that. And there it is, over transportation, over everything. That is how a PSYOP is run. So you see, everything's fine in America. Don't get your hair on fire. Don't get movement. Don't get the people to want the TSA not grabbing their genitals in Houston, in Dallas, and the military out at the Kite Festival here in Austin. And every TV show I turn on or drama, or they have the NFL draft, and they say, now the draft, and the Army walks in. No, there's no PSYOP going on. There's no clergy response team documents I got that were later confirmed to be accurate, saying they're training clergy to tell people to stand down and go into camps. There it is, legal obligations. Within the United States territory, there are specific legal restrictions governing the use of U.S. military forces. That's only one part. Hit Control F again. Unbelievable. I will find that and pull it up for you, buddy boy. Let's go ahead and talk to Woody, just retired police officer. Woody, he's not saying everything's fine, but everything is okay. You think everything's okay in America? What do you think about this?
You know, that young man there, you know, he's definitely taken the blue pill, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And us old-timers, we've been chased off the job, you know, because we were the kind of people that spoke our minds. And when I remember sitting back in 2004 for FEMA training, and they started talking about George Washington as a terrorist, me and a bunch of other guys immediately just started just yelling at this guy, hey, this is a political agenda here. What are you doing? What are you talking about? George Washington is a terrorist. This is ridiculous. So half of us got up and left and walked out.
Oh, let me stop you. I was sent by a firefighter 18 hours of footage of FEMA in 2000 teaching them that the founders are bad, America's bad, constitutionalists are terrorists, Ron Paul stickers are bad, basically. And people saw that footage and didn't believe it. Just like the MIAC and Homeland Security report, they didn't believe that returning veterans were the #1 threat. You're saying you were in Washington. Tell us about that. You just retired. Tell us what they told you in 2004.
This was a political agenda. Anybody with half a brain could see what these bozos were dishing out to us. And the old-timers sitting there, and there was half old-timers and half of these young kids that believe all this garbage they get on TV about what it means to be a peace officer. Now, this old-timers just started yelling at the instructor, telling him, hey, listen, what are you talking? This is political agenda here. Are you aware you're pushing a political agenda? And we were outraged. We were indignant. And, you know, then they started sending people to the fusion centers for tours, and most of us old-timers, we didn't get the invitation.
Well, of course, they want to find out who's an idiot. And that's the thing. Most of these people that have gotten into this, they're into it now, and they don't want to admit they're wrong.
They think being a police officer is going out there and being a revenue collector, okay? Going out there and writing hard-working people tickets for all these ridiculous infractions.
Well, the worst part is it'd be one thing if the country was going bankrupt and you had to get revenue. No amount will pay it. It's impossible. It all goes to foreign banks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, we'll just go back to the 80s, back what they started with in the 80s with the continuity of government agenda. And the police are essential. You got to brainwash the police. You got to get the police to go along with the program, because you can't bring the military in right away. You got to do it incrementally, and this is what they're doing. They're doing it incrementally. You're absolutely right. You're hitting it right on the head. And young man like this guy just called in, he's either a fraud or a total goof or doesn't have a clue to what's going on in his life.
Well, you notice he wouldn't say if he works for the military. My gut says he's like a deputy liaison to the Pentagon or InfraGard or FBI, because they do that and give them a little extra money. Listen, buddy, you're nothing special. They tried to recruit every dentist my dad works with. This is big, okay? They've never done this before. They're building up for a giant offensive against this country.
We're going to have to bring in foreign troops to enforce it, because I'll tell you, my whole family's military. I have sons in the military, been in the military, Afghanistan, Iraq, and I'm going to tell you right now, these fine young people in the military are going to rebel. They're not going to go along with it. So they're going to have to bring in lots of United Nations forces to do it.
Well, I used to hear that 15, 16 years ago and think people were crazy, but they were all former military and they'd been in the briefings. Now it's in the news. 15 foreign nations to be used against domestic terrorists during crises. I mean, they're admitting it.
Thank you for all you do, Alex.
God bless you. I appreciate your call. You know what makes me frustrated? When he said that, I get mad. I don't want to start screaming at people. Because I read this morning, I scanned through it. I read Paul's article. He's counting on you not doing that. Or it's 300 pages long. Maybe he doesn't know what he's reading. But you notice this. Every time I cover something, I'm told it isn't real. And every once in a while, we are wrong. And I wish I was wrong about this. Let me explain something. I have footage of it, of them training to take over San Francisco and take people's guns. I have the Marines admitting it on video. I had the Boy Scouts on footage in 1998. Now it's been in the New York Times, training to go door to door and take guns in Hebron, Maryland. Now it's admitted nationwide. And people call me going, don't bash the Boy Scouts. I'm not bashing the Boy Scouts. They're being taken over. I'm not bashing the police. I've got family that are police. The point is, I am bashing what it's being turned into. That'd be like, to use a gross analogy, it'd be like if somebody used the bathroom, defecated on your coat, and you put it on with stuff all over it, and I said, ooh, that's disgusting. You said, how dare you not like my coat? It's not the coat, it's what's all over it. Don't you In fact, get me Watson on the line, because that guy made me so angry. I want to just stress all that and then add even more, and then add civilian inmate labor camp program where they admit they're going to use the U.S. Army with PSYOPs against the American people already in place. The Emergency Centers Establishment Act, clergy response team, everything. Just hit them, and put newscast about the clergy training folks to go to camps and PSYOPs. And we'll say, pure PSYOP. And he'd probably call back and say, that's not a PSYOP. Let's jam in. We're going to go to Charles. Hadn't gotten in years. If this is the Charles I think. Charles, you've been listening for 15 years. What do you think?